So let's start. So what we want to study today is we want to move away from the world of ism and we want to enter the world of fi'l. Okay, so we're going to start the study of fi'ls. Okay, the study of fi'l is a completely different world and it's a very, very big world. Okay, it's while ism is also a very big world, what we have done in ism is a portion of it, but fi'l world is even bigger world and it's a huge, huge scope of learning. Okay, so we will do in this course, of course, a subset of that field study, and this is, of course, fundamental and introductory field studies. Fi'l in the Quranic Arabic has I mean supreme importance. Just like verbs in English, I mean you can't really construct much without verbs in English. In Arabic as well, but in Arabic as well, you have to really own the fi'ls and their relationship with the isms to really understand what's going on in the Quran. Okay, so we will establish some fundamental understanding of the fi'l. What are fi'ls? And then inshallah go and start with the study of fi'l. So let's start with what are fi'ls. So if you know English, I'm sure you do know English. So in English you have verbs. So the verbs are made up of two things. So they have an action in them and they have a tense in them, which is time. Okay? So they could be in past, they could be in present, and they could be in the future. Right? So these are verbs that you already know quite well, probably better than me. Uh, and fail world is similar. So what fail is basically fail has the same two things in them. So fail has an action in them. It has a tense in them, which is time. But it has one more thing in them, which is not present in the English verb, and that is the doer of action. Okay, so since the very beginning of the class, you've been learning the ism in rafa is a doer, ism in rafa is a doer. That is that doer of action. Okay, that's what you've been learning, and you will learn over time that ism in rafa is actually more than a doer. It doesn't really only have to be a doer. Ism in rafa can be other things too. But when you start to learn the language, that's how you start. You start with one specific definition of ism in rafa, and then you take it from there. So when you said ism in rafa is doer, that is the doer we're talking about, basically, right? So the fail of Arabic has tense, action, and the doer of the action. So always remember the fail of Arabic is a superset. It's a superset, and the verb of English is its subset. Okay, so fail of Arabic is bigger, and there is a verb of English inside it. Okay, so because of the action and the tense. Just like the ism, if you remember, the definition of ism in Arabic was much broader than the definition of the noun in English, right? Much like that. So you have the doer of the action as an additional add-on. So some examples. For example, if you say he ate an apple, okay? He ate an apple. Now in English, from English perspective, you have ate, that is a verb. And please stop me if you're getting confused and you have any questions, please. In English, ate is a verb. Now in ate, from if you're looking at ate, you're talking about past, which is the tense, and you're talking about the action of eating. So you have the action of eating and the tense, which is past. Right? That's what English verb is. And then you take the same sentence, ate an apple. In this particular case, when you talk about Arabic, so you also have the doer of the action. Now here, the doer is he. Who ate the apple? He ate the apple. So he ate, this entire thing is the fail. He ate is the fail. So you have action of eating, you have the tense, which is past, and you have the doer of the action, which is he. Okay? This entire thing would be a fail in Arabic. So when you say out a fail in Arabic, or read it, you actually reading it, and that fail is having this pronoun, which is a doer, inside it, hidden somewhere. And you have to build the skill to detect, how do I know which pronoun is inside this fail? Because if you can't, then you're missing out on the doer part. Okay? So the pronouns and the fail are gelled together in Arabic. They're not different. They're actually part of the one big bucket, which is fail. Okay? So that's how they differentiate from English. Now, the question is, in English, you have a pretty straightforward way of identifying a verb, because this is a word that shows action and the tense. In Arabic, while you write it in English, he ate, it's easy to find. But when I write something like this, which is a fail, this is a fail, right? How would I know that which pronoun is inside it, right? So how would I know? I mean, it's not showing off anything. That is the skill you need to build. Sorry, you need to build the skill of recognition. Recognition. First, recognizing this is a fail. Then you need to build the skill of identification. Then you need to identify which doer is inside this fail. Okay? And you need to identify, who is it referring to? Is it third person, second person? Is it first person? Is it a singular, pair, plural? Much like ism world, right? You need to identify all of those things when you look at a fail. When I'm looking at a word nasara, I'm trying to identify, is it a fail? And if it is a fail, okay, what does it have inside it? Every fail has by default a pronoun inside it, which is a doer of that fail. Okay, every fail, as standard, has a pronoun inside it, right? So which is a doer of an action. And you need to build these two skills to be able to work with the fails. And of course, that's why you need to know the pronouns very, very well. Okay. Now, so far so good. All understandable, easy. Very good. Okay. Right. Now, in Arabic language, there are basically two parent types or categories of fails. Two categories of fail, two types you're going to call them. So let's list them down. Two types of fails. Okay. The first is the past tense, just like English. Then you have the present tense. The present tense fail. Now, in English, you also have a future tense, right? So you have past, present, and the future. But in Arabic, you have just two. Okay? So the one used for present tense is also used for the future tense. Okay, so it just divides into two categories: the past and the present slash future tense fails. Okay, and from the present tense and future tense fails, in the future we will see it derives few more categories of fails, which we will inshallah do later on in our study. Okay, so we will start with the past tense fails. Today we're going to cover the past tense fail. Okay? And this word nasara, this is going to be our template fail to learn about fail. Okay, so inshallah we'll use this one. So every fail in Arabic, not every, almost all the fails, almost all the fails, more than 95% of the fails in Arabic are made up of three root letters. three root letters. Okay, so in this particular case, for example, this is Noon, Thod, and Ra. Okay, the three root letters. Even if the word apparently shows more letters, for example, I'll give you an example. For example, if you say this one, istaghfara, for example. Now, this seems to be a word with many letters, right? So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. Out of these 6 letters, the root letters are just 3, which is ghafara. This one. We'll learn this skill if we ever study the sarf, inshallah. Okay. So, but every fi'l has 3 root letters. Majority of them. There are some that come with 4, and there are very few that come with 5. Okay. So in the Quran, you have some examples. I think few, literally, you can count on the fingertips, where the fi'l has 4 root letters, but majority of the fi'ls in the Quran are with 3 root letters. Okay, no matter how big they look like. Okay, and this is another topic. This is study of sarf, how words are constructed, and if you ever go there, inshallah, you will learn that skill. Okay. Now, so every fi'l has three root letters, and we're going to use this fi'l nasara as a starting point, as a template fi'l for us to start a study of fi'ls. Okay, so let's start, inshallah, with the past tense fi'ls. Past tense. Oops. Past tense fi'ls. Okay. I don't think I need to define to you what past tense is. Past tense, of course, we all know is something that happens in the past. The time is actually, the tense is the past tense, something that has happened. It's few characteristics of past tense. So past tense are types, past tense are representing actions and actions that you cannot change. Right? So if, for example, I ate my breakfast, if I have done that action, I ate it, no matter what I do, I cannot change it. It's done and dusted. Okay? It's done and dusted. Because you cannot change it, sometimes in English, it's also called perfect tense. Perfect tense. Why perfect? Because it's so perfect, you can't change it. Okay? You really cannot go in the past and change something, that the action that has taken place. Okay? So past tense, that's correct. That characteristic of past tense is used in few ways in the Quran. There are many ways, but I'm going to talk about just 2. And that is a more deeper study of balagha and rhetoric if we ever go there. And myself, I'm also a student of that study, a very naive student, though. Inshallah, it's a study that you want to do at some point in your lives when you continue your study of the Arabic language. So the 2 ways past tense could potentially be used in the Quran is one, of course, to show events that took place in the past, just like normal, any event that took place in the past, okay? But also to show, how should I say? Also to show absolute, also shows things that will happen for sure. Things that haven't really taken place yet, right? And Allah uses past tense in the Quran sometimes to give you a extensive, intensive feeling that this thing that I'm saying is so important, that it's going to happen so much. It's so true that it's going to happen. It's as if it was the past and you cannot change it. It is a decision that is decreed. It is done and dusted. Nobody can change it whatsoever. So to demonstrate that side of the story in the Quran, many times past tense is also used, and you will see in that case a past tense is translated into present tense. You will see those examples in the Quran. For example, one of the example is, if I can, إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح. We'll do this inshallah. الفتح. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح. So here the past tense is not ja'i ja'a. Oops, ja'a. So this is the past tense, ja'a. Inshallah, we'll do when we do the decoding. So this is a past tense. It means he came. Okay. But here in the ayah, you would actually see it translated like this. So when the help of Allah and the victory comes. Comes. That's how you would see it translated many times. Okay. Although it's a past tense, it's translated in the present tense. And this is done to demonstrate that this is absolutely going to happen. Nobody can change it. Okay, because the characteristic of past tense is that you can't go back and change it. Okay, so and there are of course multiple uses of past tense beyond these two in the Quran. It's a language of Allah and it's a very extensive language. So, but I hope that gives you an idea of some characteristics of the past tense. Okay, so we are going to now look into the past tense more deeply. And fortunately or unfortunately, we construct a chart. Here's yet another chart for you to firm up. But this is the only way to learn it. I'll try to make it as simple as possible for you. Okay, inshallah. Once you have done that, I think in the next one or two classes you would be pretty comfortable with the chart, inshallah. And I'm of course subject to you putting some effort on your part as well. But this is not something super difficult. Okay, so let's start with a failed chart, inshallah. So past tense chart. I want to do past tense chart. Where's the chart? Yes, here's the chart. Past tense chart. All right. As you can see, the chart I have here, I have divided it into masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, single, pair, plural, just like any other thing that we did in the ism world. Okay, so fi'ls are also singular, they are also pair, and they're also plural. Okay, so they are also masculine, they're also feminine. One thing you should also note before we start this chart, that the concepts that you learned in ism being a rafa, nasab, or jar. Ism has status, number, gender, type. All of those things do not apply to fi'l. That is the ism world. So don't confuse yourself and start to find the status of a fi'l. There is nothing called a status of a fi'l. Okay, so inshallah we'll do something in the future about more characteristics of fi'l. But what you have done in the ism world, the 5 fragments: idafa, harf of jar, harf of nasab, mawsuf, sifa, ism, ishara, the pointer fragments, finding an invisible is, all of that is the ism world. It's not the fi'l world. Okay, so it doesn't happen in the fi'l world. Okay, so just leave that on one part of your mind and put and install the fi'ls on the other part of your mind. And as you're firming up the fi'ls, we'll start to bring the two things together and see how they gel together in the ayahs of the Quran. Okay, so our template root letters that we're going to use are Nun, Thad, and Ra. Okay, now I'm going to write the first one, and it's going to be like this. So first we're going to do the Hua version, then we're going to do the Huma version. So these are the pronouns, okay? And then we're going to do the Hum versions. Huwa, huma, hum. Okay. Then you have feminine, which is here, here, and then you have huma, hunna version after that. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. We'll do these ones. Then anta version. What do I mean by anta version? I mean, basically, what I'm doing here is, as I said, the fi'il has a pronoun inside them. So you need to recognize and identify the fi'il per pronoun. Okay? Per pronoun. For every pronoun, there's a version of a fi'il. There's a fi'il that looks different. Okay? There's something about it. Okay? So for every pronoun, we'll have to construct a fi'il, a form of a fi'il for these three root letters. That's what I'm writing here, the pronouns only for now. Anta, and then you have antuma, you have antum. Okay, then you have anti, antuma, and antunna. Okay, and then you have ana, then you have nahnu. Okay, so these are your 14 pronouns. For each of this pronoun, we have to construct a fi'il. Okay, and so you have this root letter, three root letters, and it will transform into 14 words. Okay, each for one pronoun, for a pronoun. Okay, so you are building a skill where somebody gives you these three root letters and you produce 14 words out of it. Okay, it's a fantastic vocabulary exercise. So as soon as you're giving three root letters, you can produce the entire set of 14 words for those root letters. That's how you build your vocabulary. The best way to build vocabulary is to pick up a surah, identify the fi'ils, and for those each fi'il, build up these 14 versions. Okay, because sometimes different versions are used in the Quran in different places. So instead of just rote memorizing a list of words, there are many techniques out there. 80% of the words of the Quran in 30 days and things like that. They're all good, fine, but from my perspective, the best way you can really memorize the vocabulary in the Quran is by sticking to one surah and just completely understanding the vocabulary of that surah, because it's repeating, then moving on to the next one, then moving on to the next one, and then you create a reference in your mind. So we did the surah Munafiqun, for example, Iza jaa kal munafiqun, and if let's say you know Munafiqun, from Munafiqun you know Munafiqun, Munafiqan, Munafiqin, Munafiqani, Munafiqaini, Munafiqaini, Munafiquna, Munafiqina, Munafiqina. You know all of that, right? So if at some other surah, in some other surah, the word munafiqina is used or munafiqin is used, and you did munafiqun, you are immediately able to map. Okay, in the surah munafiqun, I did the munafiqun, and here is the different form of the same word. So you have cross-referencing in the Quran where you actually know that word from. So that's for you is the best way to build up the vocabulary, inshallah. So let's start with this. So the first one, when you are recognizing a past tense fail, your focus is on the ending of that fail, only on the ending of that fail. You don't care much what's happening in the beginning and the middle as yet, okay? But your focus primarily is the ending of the fail. So what I'm going to do is write the first form of this fail. Huwa is na, tha, and ra. Okay? What you're looking at is the ra. It's the last root letter of that fi'l that is having a fatha. Okay? Nasara. So when you look at nasara, any word that maps to this format is most likely a fi'l. Okay? So Allah says in the Quran, Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, and then Khalaqa al-Insan. Now, when you look at khalaqa and you look at nasara, the same pattern, they're mapping together, they look the same, yeah? So you are looking at khalaqa, that is a fi'l. It's a past tense fi'l. It has the same ending. Okay? It has the same ending. Now you might question, hey, when I look at this fi'l, I might see it as an ism that is light. It was khalaqun or khalaqan and it has become light. Right? So if it is becoming light, it becomes khalaqa. Right? So how do I know? So you know through the context, and you know there are four reasons for an ism to be light. Calling somebody absolute negation, partly flexible, and you also know it is either a mudaf in the idafa fragment when it is light. So none of those would apply. None of those would apply in that case. Okay, so it will be pretty unique in its own right. So if it is a mudaf, then al insana should be al insani. Right? So the context around it is going to tell you all of that. Okay? But once you have firmed up this chart, you inshallah will not have that problem much. Okay? So any fail that maps to this format of last letter taking a fatha is a past tense fail in huwa form. So nasara means this basically means to help. So nasara would mean he helped. He helped. So the way I want you to memorize this or retain this in your mind is with the pronoun for now, okay? So you can say nasara only, but I would like you to firm it up as huwa nasara. So you know there is a huwa inside it. It gets installed in your mind, okay? Huwa nasara. So whenever we are saying nasara, we're actually saying he helped, okay? So far so good? Any questions? Getting along? Cool. Very good. Now let's move on. What happens in the dual case? So huwa nasara, and then what you do is basically, again, you have to look at the ending. You pick up the nasara the way it was. But what you do is basically you give it a stretch. There's an alif in the end. Now there's a stretch in the end. Nasara. There's a stretch in the end. So when you get that stretch is actually representing the inside pronoun. This ra and alif is telling you there is a huma inside it. Okay, there is a huma inside it, and this huma is masculine huma. Okay, so what you're saying in your mind is huwa nasara, huma nasara, a little bit of a stretch. Okay, and these are subtle differences for an Arab mind, and I'm sure Noor you can relate. In your family, people might be speaking Arabic. So in an Arab mind, these subtle changes do matter in the language, right? So it's a very sensitive language. So the rhyme, the way things are pronounced. I remember you identifying my area in the previous classes when I say Kauthar and Kauthar was Kauthar, and that's because the the sensitivity of how you pronounce things. Sometimes you have to do it longer, shorter, and that's why tajweed is important. Okay, in the Quran. So if you just say nasara, that is too short. Versus nasara, okay, that's a bit longer. Okay, and that just little bit of stretch is going to tell you which pronoun is inside it. Now, your job right now is not to be able to detect fails by listening. You are identifying and recognizing fails by looking. You need a word written in front of you to be able to identify what that fail is. Okay, we're not talking about listening comprehension yet. Okay, so now because this is huma inside, what you're going to say is they both helped, or both of them helped. Okay, if it was to be mapped to the version of khalaqa, if khalaqa was huwa, khalaqa was huwa, not khalaqa. Khalaqa was huwa. The version of huma would be khalaqa. Okay? Khalaqa. Now the difference between is the same. It's the same format. After the last letter, you have a alif, which is giving it a stretch. Now this ending is telling you what is this pronoun inside. Okay? So huwa nasara, huma nasara. And you need to say it out to just firm it up in your mind. Okay? Once you do the first six, then I think you're good because the first six are the most tricky ones. Rest are simple. That stays the technique. I will tell you inshallah. Okay. So huwa nasara, huma nasara, and then comes to hum. Hum. Again, you take the three root letters like this. Now this time you are putting an u ending with a waw and alif. Nasaru. This u ending basically is telling you that this is hum. Nasaru. Okay. So you have the waw and alif in the end that is coming with the dhamma on the last root letter. It is telling you there is a hum inside it. It's a masculine hum. Huwa nasara, huma nasara, hum nasaru. And this would mean they helped. If we go to our khalaqa mapping, there's a khalaqa, and then khalaqu. Oops, khalaqu, yeah. Khalaqu. Khalaqa means he created. Khalaqa means they both created. Khalaqu means they all created. Nasara means he helped. Nasara means they both helped. Nasaru means they all helped or they helped. Okay? So you might be, of course, thinking that you have to firm it up as a chart. Yes, you have to, of course. It will become a chart of 14 fails. Okay, and then you have to firm that up. Your job is to be able to make sure that you can pick it up from your mind. Okay, so when I say what was the antuma form of this fail, you are able to tell me, hey, this is the antuma form of this fail. Okay, this is a flavor into the study of sarf. So if you remember, we did a little bit of discussion around the two types of studies, Nahu and Sarf. What you have been doing so far with the Ism, you've been learning the Nahu, where you have been talking about how different words come together and they make sense, fragments and all of those things. Here, you're focused on one word only, just one word, okay? You're not talking about what's happening around that word yet. So you're just talking about one word, and you're seeing how that word changes itself with each pronoun. Okay, so that's morphology. That's a surf study. Okay, a study of words, how they are formed, created, where they originate from, and all of those things. So this is a flavor of surf study that you are doing, and of course, it's a very big study in itself to understand where the words come from, and it's an inspirational study. Gives you lots and lots of wisdom from the Quran. So, huwa nasara, huma nasara, hum nasaru. I'll give you 30 seconds to just say it out loud in your mind so you're comfortable with this. Just these three ones for now. Just say it out a few times. 30 seconds, please. And then I'll move on, inshallah. Okay? Any questions? Ask. 30 seconds. Okay? Good with the first three? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you. Very good. Okay, cool. So the next three, okay? Huwa nasara, huma nasara, hum nasaru. We have PhD now in the first three, okay? Now we're going to the next three. So the next three suggests that we have here, which is a feminine world, and now we are moving into feminine fi'ils. So what you're going to do, you're going to pick up the huwa, nasara, that's it. And if you remember, the letter ta is very close to the feminine world in Arabic, right? It represents feminine words many times in the Arabic. So you're going to use the same ta like that, and you're going to put a sukoon on it. That's it. Nasarat, you're talking about this rath ending, fatha and sukoon ending. Nasarat. Nasarat, hiya nasarat. Huwa nasara, huma nasara, hum nasaru, hiya nasarat. Huwa khalaqa, huma khalaqa, hum khalaqu, hiya. Anyone wants to give it a shot? I want your help. Khalaqat. Very good. Khalaqat. Very nice, mashallah. Khalaqat. Khalaqat would mean she created. She created. Nasarat would mean she helped. Okay? It's so powerful. I mean, look, you just had three root letters and you're producing that vocabulary from it. It's such an important skill in the Quran. So any form of these three root letters would show up in front of you, you'll be able to say, hey, this is this word. Okay? And this is one of the facts when different apps and stuff that say, okay, 80% of the words in the Quran are repeating themselves. That is one of the reasons, right? Because you have, at one point, you have Nasara, and in another surah, you have Nasarath, then you have Nasaru. They're repetitive words. And if you know the study of Sarf, it's basically one word that you have 14 forms of, right? So once you have built this skill, it's a phenomenal skill to have, okay? So hiya nasarath, huma, you take the huma of the masculine, the way it was, nasara, just like that, okay? You take that, and because you know that in the feminine world, ta is a letter that is used, so you add the ta to it. Nasarata, okay? Nasarata, huma nasarata. Then this rata ending is giving you that this is huma feminine. Okay, in the masculine, you do not have the ta. Huma nasara versus huma nasarata. Okay, so you have a stretch after the ta. This means they both helped, but this time feminine. Okay, so khalaqa. Huwa khalaqa, huma khalaqa, hum khalaqu, hiya khalaqat, huma khalaqata. Huma khalaqata. They both created, but feminine this time. Okay? So no matter what fi'l I give you, you will inshallah be able to construct all of this. Okay? So you know by looking at these endings which pronoun is inside it. Okay? Now let's go to the hunna one. Now, although hunna is feminine, hunna doesn't take benefit of the ta. Hunna likes to be a little bit more independent on its own, right? It likes to create its own brand. Okay, so hey, I don't want tas. Every feminine is taking ta. I'm not gonna take that ta. I'm gonna be on my own. I'm gonna stay unique. Okay, so what Hunna does is it takes the hua form basically. It takes the hua form, right? And it says, okay, because I am recognized by my noon, because I'm recognized by my noon, I'm going to use my noon too. Okay? I have two noons because I have a shadda on them. One of the noons I'm going to use. So if I take one of the noons, it's going to be like this. And what I'm going to do to differentiate myself from huwa has the three fathas. I'm going to put sukoon on the ra. The sukoon and na ending, nasarna, nasarna, that ending is telling you this is hunna. Okay, you understand? So it means they helped, but feminine in this case. Okay, so I'll explain that again one more time so it's super, super clear. So what we did was we took the nasara just like that. I'm just trying to give you a logic so you don't have to rote memorize it. You won't find Arabic teachers giving such logics to students like this. But I like to because it helped me to memorize it better, to remember how can I produce it, right? So you just take the hua form, you put a sukoon on the ra, and then you borrow one of the noons from hunna, put it in the end, right? It becomes nasarna. Okay. So, what is the hunna form of the fi'l khalaqa? I need your help. Anyone?
خلقنا.
خلقنا. Very good. خلقنا. هو خلقا هما خلقا هم خلقوا هي خلقت هما خلقتا هن خلقنا هو نصرا هما نصرا هم نصروا هي نصرت هما نصرتا هن نصرنا. Okay. First six fi'ls. Okay. We good? Good. Now, if you've done these first six, I mean, from my experience, students find these first six the most complex ones, really. They're not really complex, it's just new thing to remember. And that's what I think is frustrating sometimes to students. But when I say complex one, I mean that there is no pattern to it, really. So Nasara is Nasara, then Nasara. So I try to deduce those patterns to teach students. Like I said, you take Nasara, put an Aleph, then you take Nasara, then you put a noon on it, and blah, blah, blah. There's no specific pattern, but in the next six, you have a well-defined pattern. You have a well-defined pattern, and you really have, you can produce it once you know the logic yourself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to produce the Anta version, and I want you both, one by one, to produce the other ones for me, okay? Applying that same method that I'm going to tell you. Okay, so what you do in this next six is basically you know every pronoun. Just notice in every pronoun you have ant, 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 and ant. In every pronoun you have hamza, nun, and ta, hamza, nun, and ta, hamza, nun, and ta. Every pronoun in the next six. What you're going to do is you're going to replace the hamza and noon part with the fi'l. Okay, you're going to replace the hamza and noon part with the nasara version. Let me just say that nasara version, and you're going to put the sukoon on the ra. That's it. Or you can say you can replace the first three letters of the hunna version instead of the an here. So this anta would become Nasr up to the point it was before the noon, like this, right? Nasr, and then once you have replaced this alif noon, you keep the ta the way it is. Ta. Anta nasarta. Anta nasarta. So this sukoon and ta ending is telling you this is anta. Okay? Now that we have done this first one, what you're basically doing in the all next five, you're picking up this nasr and you're replacing the an with it. You're picking up nasr and replacing the an with it. Okay, it's anta nasarta. So Hansa, what do you think antuma would become?
نصرتما.
Nasartuma. Very good. Noor, what would antum become?
نصرتم.
Nasartum. Very good. And that's the logic, right? So this sukun and thuma, this sukun and thum is telling you this is antuma, this is antum. Anta nasarta, antuma nasartuma, antum nasartum, anti nasarti, antuma nasartuma, which is the same as before. How would I know which is feminine and which is masculine? Context will tell you. Okay? And antunna nasartunna. Nasar, and then you keep the tunna part. Antunna nasartunna. So nasarti, nasartuma, and nasartunna. Okay? Right. So huwa nasarahuma nasarahum nasaru hiya nasarathuma nasaratahunna nasarna. Anta nasarta, antuma nasartuma, antum nasartum, anti nasarti, antuma nasartuma, antunna nasartunna. Okay? هو خلقا هما خلقا هم خلقوا هي خلقت هما خلقتا خلقنا أنت خلقت أنتما خلقتما أنتم خلقتم أنت خلقتي أنتما خلقتما أنتن خلقتن. Okay, 1 minute, take 2 minutes, form it up. But wait a second. Let me give you the next two, just two remaining, and then I'll give you that time to form it up a little bit. Right. First, give me thumbs up. Good for now? Up to this point? Good. Okay. Now, how should I produce ana? Okay, so the way I learned it, I'm going to teach that way to you. That helped me remember when I was a student. So, because I'm an engineer, I try to find logic in everything. That's my nature. I'm not sure if that's how you work as well, but I try to find those patterns in things. So when I looked at ana, I looked at here. I saw the ta in front of here. This ta had a sukoon on it. Then I looked at the anta. This ta had a fatha on it. And this ta in anti had a kasra on it. Which haraka is remaining? My question to you. We had a sukoon, we had a fatha, and we had a kasra. Which one is remaining? Dhamma. Dhamma is remaining, right? So what Ana says, hey, you have taken the sukoon, you have taken the fatha, you have taken the kasra. I'm going to take the dhamma. I'm going to take the dhamma. So this becomes nasartu. Nasartu. Ana nasartu. That is how I remember it when I learned it for the first time. Okay, this is not how my ustad taught me. This is the pattern I identified and say, hey, this helps me because I know tha is used for feminine, and if I'm putting a tha in front of ana, ana can be masculine or feminine. So why do I have to put tha here? So that logic did not really make sense to me. Why is there a tha here? So instead, I changed my way of thinking and say, hey, it's sukoon, e, and then it's u. The last sound that's missing, which is not used, is u, and that's what ana takes. Okay, so if you have to produce the halaka versions, Let's write them down. So anta khalaqta, oops, wrong keyboard. Anta khalaqta, antuma khalaqtuma, tuma antum khalaqtum, anti khalaqti, antuma khalaqtuma, khalaqtuma, antunna khalaqtunna, khalaqtunna. And then ana khalaqtu, that's where we are. Ana nasartu, ana khalaqtu. Ana nasartu, ana khalaqtu. Okay? And the last one. Now, what Nahnu wanted to achieve is what Hunna has achieved. Nahnu and Hunna had a fight. Okay? They said, hey, Hunna, you had a noon, and I also had a noon. I wanted that noon. Okay? I wanted to use it. Right? So Hunna came back and says, hey, Nahnu, I gave one of my noons to Nasarna because I had two noons. I had a Shadda. You have just one noon. If you give away your noon, what do you have left? Hunna started. Then Nahnu said, all right, let me think over it. Okay, what should I do? What should I do? Said, okay, I understand that I still am going to use the same pattern, but I'm going to make it a little bit different. So what Nahnu did is Nahnu picked up the Hunna version, Sarna, like this. Say, okay, the way I'm going to differentiate it is I'm going to put an alif in the end. Stretch. Okay? Nahnu nasarna. Nahnu nasarna. So there's a stretch in the end. So when you're listening, you have to listen closely. You have to build the sensitivity of if it is the stretched na or a normal na. And when you're looking at it, you have to find physical alif here to detect if it is Hunna version or Nahnu version. Okay? So that's how it differentiates. So Nahnu nasarna, and that makes Nahnu khalaqna. Okay? Let me bring all of that in one screen. Yeah. Okay. So, of course, now you know what you need to do. You need to build up this, firm this up in your mind. We forgot to translate it. Anta nasarta is you helped. You antuma nasartuma, you both helped. Antum is you all helped. In English, you would probably say you to all three of these. You helped, you helped, you helped, but just to differentiate here. Anti nasarti is you helped, feminine. You both helped, feminine. You all ladies help, or whatever you want to remember it for. So you all helped. Okay. Ana, I helped. Nahnu, we helped. Okay. So what is expected of you? Your expected of you is the following. So you're able to say, Huwa nasarahum, nasarahum, nasaru, hiya nasarat, huma nasaratahum, na nasarna. Anta nasarta, antuma nasartuma, antum nasartum, anti nasarti, antuma nasartuma, antunna nasartunna, ana nasartu, nahnu nasarna. And if I come back to you and say, hey, do it for khalaqa, you're able to do the same thing for khalaqa. Huwa khalaqa, huma khalaqa, hum khalaqu, hiya khalaqat, huma khalaqata, hunna khalaqna. Anta khalaqta, antuma khalaqtuma, antum khalaqtum, anti khalaqti, antuma khalaqtuma, antunna khalaqtunna, ana khalaqtu, nahnu khalaqna. If I throw a different one on you, do it for kafara. You're going to say, Huwa kafara, huma kafara, hum kafaru, hiya kafarat, huma kafarata, hunna kafarna. Anta kafarta, antama kafartuma, antum kafartum, anti kafarti, antuma kafartuma, antunna kafartunna, أنا كفرت نحن كفرنا. That's what you want to achieve, right? Not today, of course, not today in the class, but that's your target, okay? You have to achieve this. The sooner you achieve that, the sooner you are going to excel with the fails, okay? And as you have seen, it involves your pronoun foundation, okay? So spend 2 minutes. In fact, let me give you a break. Let me give you a 10 minutes break. I'll give you 10 minutes break. 10 minutes break. Go relax yourself if you need to, and come back. Use this time a little bit to just go through this chart again. This chart is available in your notes on page number 33. Okay, this is the same chart we have just constructed. Okay, on page 33. Come back after 10 minutes. We meet 15 past, inshallah. Okay, and then just try to revise it a few times before I move forward with it. All right, deal. Good. Assalamu alaikum. All right. Please tell me when you're back. Right. Good. I hope you got some time to just look into the chart. You tried to say it out a few times yourselves. Um, let's do some exercise. Okay, so I would want you to just do this exercise a little bit. Just this exercise is a recognition exercise. Recognition, identification, not really recognition. It's basically identification exercise where you're trying to find out what is the pronoun inside the fi'ls. So, of course, as always, I'm not going to do all of it. I'm going to leave it for you to do it, inshallah. So you get the most benefit out of it. But let's do few. Okay. So, and I don't want to do this. I want your help in this. Okay. So let's see. So what we are trying to do is basically identify which pronoun is inside these af'als or fi'ls. Okay, let's try with the first one. Qultum. Qultum. Which pronoun are we looking for? Let's go with you, Noor, first. What do you think?
Um, أنتم.
Antum. Very good. So let's do number three.
Wait, I
Hansa,
have a
what do you think?
question.
Yes, please.
Is with Qultum is I don't know what the root word is for that, but is that one of the ones that only has two letters, or does it have three letters?
Good question. Let me explain that here. So, just like any other language, there are normal words and there are a little bit of irregular, abnormal words. So kultum comes from the word which you know probably very well, qala, in from the Quran. Qala means he said. It's like nasara. The problem with this word is this word has an alif in the middle. And in Arabic language, alif and ya, these two, alif and ya, alif and ya, these two can never be root letters. These are vowel sounds. They can't be root letters. But there are some fi'ls in which one of these two show up to represent a root letter, but they're not actually the root letter. So this is an advanced fail. Inshallah, we will do in later on in our class if we do the surf study. So this alif is representing another root letter, which is waw. Okay, so this comes from kala, and if you pick up kala and you try to construct the chart, it's kala, kala, kalu, kalat, kalata, qulna. Then anta qulta, antuma qultuma, antum qultum. This is antum qultum coming from there. But in this exercise, you do not see the three letters before the tum. And that's what's probably your question. So this is an advanced fail, and one of the root letters in the middle is hidden in this case. Does that help, Hansa? Very good. So let's try to do the number three. Nafaqu. Which pronoun?
Is it hum?
It's hum. Very good. You're getting there, guys. Well done. I mean, I feel very excited when my students are now able to detect things. Mashallah, that's amazing. Okay, so let me give you this one. This is a tricky one. Okay, so number 12. Noor, let's try number 12. Let's see if you can do it. It's a little tricky, yeah, I know, but I'm trying.
Is it هو?
Very good. Hua, yes. And the way this word works, this word works like this. So basically what you have is haqqa, okay? But it was actually like this. Ha, and there are two qafs, okay? This qaf and qaf, okay? So you had the sukoon on the first qaf, and you had a fatha on the second qaf. If you read this or read this, you're going to read the same. It's haqqa. And when such situation occurs, they smoosh them together into one and put the shadda on it. Okay? And because as a student of fi'l, you are not worried about what harakas are before the ending. You're worried about the ending. Okay? So you're going to look at the ending, and by looking at haqqa, you know the last root letter has a fatha. Okay? Very good, Noor. Excellent job. Okay. Let me give you number 19, Hansa. Number 19.
Is
Tatahharna.
it
Mm.
hunna?
Hunna. Very good. It's hunna nasarna. Now, if I give you tatahharna, you all should be able to say, okay, huwa tatahhara, huma tatahhara, hum tatahharu, hiya tatahharat, huma tatahharata, hunna tatahharna. Anta tatahharta, antuma tatahhartuma, antum tatahhartum, anti tatahharti, antuma tatahhartuma, antunna tatahhartunna, ana tatahhartu, nahnu tatahharna. Picking up one fi'l, producing 14 out of it. It's an amazing skill. Okay? Good job. Okay. Number 20, Noor. Let's try this one. Number 20. Kuntum.
أنتم.
Antum. Very good. It's the similar example like qultum. It's the same word. This word is kana. This word is kana. That also is the same form like qala. It's like kana and qala. It's the same problem there. Okay? They both have this alif. You see the pattern? This is called ajwaf in the sarf studies, where you have the middle letter as alif. Okay? Well spotted. Well done. Okay? Okay, so last two. Let's do last two. So Hansa, I'll give you number 24.
Is it ana?
It is Anna. Very good. Very, very good. And number 25, Noor, last one.
Is it Anton?
Which one? Sorry?
Anton.
Anton, yes. Anton. Very good. Excellent. Well done. So you're getting there. So mashallah. So you're able to recognize. So just complete this. You have to focus on the highlighted ones. All right. Don't worry about the rest of the Arabic around. So just focus on the highlighted one and try to complete that. It will help you. Okay. Shall we move on? Thumbs up. Good. Right. So in the last 35 minutes that we have in the class, I want to teach you something again related to the pronouns and the fails. Now, you can have two pronouns coming together into a fail, operating and doing something. So, for example, he helped him. Okay, she helped them. I helped you. So what you're doing basically, the first part, the he helped, that's what you have learned. You know the first part. Okay. You know the first part. He helped. You know it's a fail. You know she helped is a fail. You know I helped is a fail. But what you don't know is what is this? You know it's a pronoun, whom, him, them, you, but how does it work? So if I write Nasara, I am saying he helped. I'm not saying he helped him. Okay? I'm just saying he helped. So how do these pronouns come together to give this meaning? Okay? And that's what that's the topic we want to learn. We learn about attaching pronouns to the fails. These pronouns that are in front here, him, them, you, these are all attached pronouns. Okay? All attached pronouns. So whenever a pronoun is attached, whenever a pronoun is attached to a fi'l, remember it is always nasb. It's always nasb. Okay? An attached pronoun to a fi'l will always be nasb. Okay? So for this exercise to really work for you, you need to know the attached version of the pronoun. So you need to know what is the attached form of huwa is, or huma is, or antum is, and so on and so forth, right? So I'm assuming that you're comfortable with that. So let's move on, inshallah. So what happens is, if I give you nasarahu, nasarahu, nasarahu. Now, from your pronoun knowledge, from the understanding of pronoun that you have, you're looking at two things. One, you're looking at the ending of this fi'l. You're saying, okay, I know this ending, and this ending is a huwa ending. Okay, so this is huwa nasara. So it is the pronoun huwa inside this one. It's an inside doer. All the pronouns inside the fi'ls are the inside doers of the fi'ls. Okay. And then this is another pronoun from my pronoun knowledge. Now this pronoun is an attached pronoun. It's an attached form of a pronoun huwa. I know this from my pronoun understanding. Okay. So this is attached from a huwa. We had who and we had he as attached. And we said these attached pronouns can either be nasb or jar. Nasb or jar. And we said whenever the pronoun is attached to an ism, if you remember the idafa studies, whenever it's attached to an ism, it is always jar. But the same pronoun, whenever it's attached to a fi'l, it's always nasb. Okay? It's always a detail. Always a detail. Okay? So when you attach the who with nasara, you are actually trying to build a construct like this. He helped him. So if you found this in the Quran, anything like this, how are you decoding that? So there's a process to this. So first step. So first you need to identify and ignore the attached pronoun. So I'm looking at nasarahu, okay? And I'm trying to come to this translation. He helped him. And that's the process I'm teaching you right now, how to come up to that translation. So when you're looking at the nasarahu, so you identify and ignore the attached pronoun. So what you do, basically, you just ignore the attached pronoun here. You say, okay, attached pronoun, go away. I don't want you right now. Okay? You ignore the attached pronoun. And now you focus on the fi'l itself. You just focus on this part of the fi'l. Okay? And you translate that fi'l the way you know it. Okay? Nasara, you know it. So you translate the fi'l. based on your fi'l chart knowledge. Okay? Right? That's what you do. So what it will become is he helped. Okay, that's what you translate this fi'l to in step number 2. Okay, then what you do in the third step is translate the pronoun, the attached pronoun itself. Okay, by itself. Okay, so attached pronoun, if this is the attached form of huwa means he, this pronoun could potentially be him or his. Okay, and his would be used when you are showing some sort of possession, and possession is shown when the pronoun is in jar, in the idafa construct. His house, his help, his book. So his is a jar form of this pronoun, so I'm going to stick to him. Okay, and then the fourth step is put it all together, and you bring it all together. So this is a process that goes on in your mind when you try to decode this type of construct. When you look at this type of construct, that's the process you're going through in your mind. Okay, so you identify and ignore the pronoun which is attached, translate the fi'l, translate the pronoun, put it all together. Okay, and many times in the Quran, this type of construct is used. So let's do another example. So if I say Nasarata, Nasarataha. Let's say I want to say this. Okay, you find this in the Quran, for example, and you want to understand what is it saying. Okay, so your step number 1 was separate the fi'l and the pronouns. Ignore the pronoun. You're ignoring ha right now. Okay, and you're just focusing on Nasarata. So do you remember what Nasarata could translate to based on your fi'l chart knowledge? Thoughts?
Them two female help.
Yeah, it's 2 female. They both feminine helped. That's what it translates to. Okay, Nasratha. Now you translate the ha itself. You remember which attached form is this? What is the independent form of ha? Independent form. Here. And here meant she. Okay, so what would ha mean?
Her. So
What?
they both helped
Her.
her.
Yeah, they both helped her. Yeah. Okay. And that's the process you're going through in your mind to translate anything like this. And in your notes, there's some examples, some good examples. Let's look at them. So the next topic is this that we just did. That's the process explained here. And if you look into your notes, look at this. Nasaraha, he helped her. Nasartuhu. Nasartu, what you're doing basically is separating Nasartu from who? Translating Nasartu. Nasartu is ana Nasartu. I helped. And then putting the pronoun in front of it. Him. Nasaratni. Now you're separating Nasarat. Zoom in a little bit. You're separating Nasarat. And you know what Nasarat is. Hiya Nasarat. Hiya Nasarat. You're translating Hiya Nasarat, which means she helped. She helped. And ni is the attached form of ana. If you remember, ana had ni and ya as attached form. And we said the ni is going to be the nasb form. Okay? So you first translate Nasarat, she helped, and then me, which is ni. Okay? So allamna kunna. Allamna kunna. Now you're looking at a fi'l first. So if your focus is on the right side. Allamna, and you're trying to map it to the Nasara chart, and you would realize that this maps to Nahnu Nasarna. Nahnu allamna. If I have to produce the entire thing, it's huwa allama, huma allama, hum allamu, hiya allamat, huma allamata, hunna allamna. Anta allamta, antuma allamtuma, antum allamtum, anti allamti, antuma allamtuma, antunna allamtunna, ana allamtu, nahnu allamna. Stretched, right? That's where you get it from. So it's we taught, this one. We taught. Now that you have translated this, you come to the pronoun that is attached. It's kunna. Now you have to find what kunna is. Now, if you know the pronoun chart, you would know it's the antunna attached form. It was antunna, and it is made kunna because it's an attached form of antunna. So that translates to all of you. Okay? Is the process clear? Good. Okay. One thing I want to so in this case as well, so allamtuma, you will translate this allamtuma. Allamtuma is the both of you taught first, and then huma is both of them. Now, how do we know if it is feminine or masculine? Because it looks the same. The context, the words around it would tell us. There are two things I should tell you. So this one, for example, allamtumuna. So basically what's happening here is this. So the fi'l is allamtum. Okay? The fi'l is allamtum. So you all taught. Okay? Allamtum. And you want to attach a na to it, or any pronoun whatsoever. So whenever you have an antum form, this would apply. Okay, what I'm going to tell you now. So allamtum, and then you want to attach any pronoun to it. Okay, so when you attach the pronoun to it, so in principle it should be allamtumna. Allamtumna. That's the logic says. But in Arabic language, the flow of the language, the way it comes out of your mouth, is important. The smoothness is very important. Okay, it has to flow, and that's why, because it's important, that's why you see the qira'ahs of the Quran can be very beautiful because of the flow. There's a flow in the language that you actually, it flows really nicely, right, in terms of its construct. So allamtumna is actually giving you kind of hiccup after the meme. Allamtumna. So the flow is not smooth. So what Arabs do is when you have antum form of the pronoun of the fi'l, and you have to attach an attached pronoun, so they would put a waw in the middle just to smooth it out. Allamtumuna. Allamtumuna. So this waw does not have any meaning or any reason here other than just smoothing out the pronunciation. Okay, so when you see an antum form or antumu form, that is the antum form. Okay, so when the attached pronouns are attached to such fi'ls, the waw is introduced for smoothness purposes, and that's what you see here. So this waw was not needed really. So it was allamtum, and then it was na. Because of smoothness, they've put the waw, and that's why the meme also takes the dhamma. Is that clear? Clear. Very good. So allamtumu is all of you taught. Na, attached form of nahnu, us. Qaluhu, another point. قالوه. The fi'l was قال. قال, and then هما قالا, هم قالوا. And you used to write it like this, قالوا. Now, when you write it like this, the ending takes the alif. It's a spelling thing in the Arabic language. When the fi'ls end with u, or even isms end with u, many times the alif is put in front of them, and it's a spelling tradition in Arabic. Okay, so when you want to attach a pronoun to this, if you want to say qalu, and you want to attach a hu to this, it just doesn't look right. Okay, qaluahu doesn't really work. So when you want to attach a pronoun with a fi'l ending with an alif like this, you just remove the alif. Okay, so alif is dropped because of such reasons. Okay, and that's what you see here. Qaluhu. Okay, it gives you that smoothness again. So qalu is still the home form. Don't get confused that there is no alif, so I'm not going to label it home form. It is home form. As a student of Arabic, now you know when an attached pronoun is there, the alif is dropped. Okay. In the previous case, when attached pronoun is there, the vowel is introduced. Okay. So these are small, subtle changes that happen in the fi'ls. Okay. In this next exercise, a very simple exercise, I think you should do it yourself. Not going to touch upon this. So you have to identify the attached pronouns in the fi'ls. Okay, so what you need to do is look at the fi'l. For example, اخترتك. اخترتك. So you have to identify which one is the fi'l and which one is the attached pronoun. And when you have identified the fi'l, maybe also identify what's the inside doer of that fi'l. Okay, let's do two. Let's just do two of them. So اخترتك. I'll do this one for you. So اخترت and ka, they're two different words, and I know اخترت maps to nasartu. Looking at the ending, maps to nasartu, and I can produce اخترى اخترى اختروا اخترت اخترتا اخترنا اخترتا اخترتما اخترتم اخترتي اخترتما اخترتن اخترتو أنا اخترت نحن اخترنا. Okay, so I can produce this entire thing. So I know this is a fi'l and there's an ana inside it, and this ka I know is an attached form of anta. Okay, that's what you have to do basically in this exercise. Let me. You want to try number 6? Number 6. Any volunteers?
I
No.
don't mind.
Okay.
قتلتموهم. So قتلتموه. And then hum is the attached pronoun.
Very good. And what's the doer inside qataltumu?
Was it they?
Think again.
Wait.
Think again. It's the same example like we just did. Why? Think about why is this wow here?
Oh yeah. Anna.
No. Think again. Think again. Qataltumu. What you're looking at, I'll help you. What you're looking at is this tum ending, basically. It's nasartum. Right? It was antum nasartum. Okay, it's antum inside it. And because whenever we see an antum ending, as we said in the previous case, and you want to attach a pronoun at the end of that antum ending, you end up putting a wow for smoothness purposes. Okay, so this qataltumhum became qataltumuhum. Okay, Hansa? Yeah? Good. Try to do this exercise, inshallah, yourself, and we will take it from there. Okay, I just want to take you to the Quran a little bit. Let's see if we can apply a few things there in the last 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes or so. So let's pick up any surah this time. We'll just randomly pick up surah. I don't know what to find here, but let's see what we have. Sure, we'll find some. Okay. I'm gonna change the font. Unzila. Unzila. Where does it map in the Nasara chart? Unzila.
هو هو
Hua. Very good. It's a hua. Okay? Very good. You're looking at this ending. Very good. Allazi. Rafa'a. You guys are answering, okay? I'm not answering. Just feel free to unmute yourself and speak up, okay? Rafa'a.
Is it who again?
Hua again. Very good. Sakhara. Sakhara.
هو
Hua again. Subhanallazi sakhara lana. Sakhara lana. Okay. Ja'ala.
Who?
Hua again. There's so many huas. I'm struggling to find another one in the surah. Okay. Let me look at another one. Okay. It's almost all of them that I can find are huas. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's do this one. Oops. Khalat.
Is it here?
Here. Very good. Here. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Where else? Okay, let me change the surah. This one has lots and lots of huas. Okay. Let's pick up something else. Okay. Okay. Aslihu. Aslihu.
Hum?
Hum. Ati'u. Ati'u.
هم
Hum. Mashallah. Okay. Tuliyat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you still see me? Something happened in front of me in my screen.
Mia.
Okay, good. Right, okay. Tuliyat and so on. Very good. Let me take this one. Now, this razaqnahum, basically, you see this dagger alif on top? Dagger alif actually is just a tajweed thing. It represents that there was an alif here. So you can write the same fi'l like this. Razaqnahum. Okay? Razaqnahum. So what is this razaqna? Which pronoun?
نحن.
Nahnu. Now you're getting it. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very nice. Akhraja.
هو.
Hum.
Did you say hum or hua?
I said هو. Hamza said hum.
Okay.
Oh no, I
Hansa,
meant Hua.
you meant hua. Okay, good. Good. That's fine. All right. Okay. You get the idea, right? So let me just find one more, which is hopefully different. No. Okay. So you get the idea, right? So by the way, it's a good tool for Word. This one, you can find it on the web. It's called Quran for Word. Just Google Quran for Word. It's an add-on that you can install, and then you have this Quran in your Word. Okay. If you install that, it's a very good tool for you to learn to do exercise like this. Okay. So your job is to now open up the Quran, any surah that you know, start with that. Maybe Surah Munafiqun, start with that. There are many in the Surah Munafiqun that we are doing as our template surah, and try to find where you can find these types of fails. Okay, it's just detection, recognition exercise. And where you have an attached pronoun, try to see if there's an attached pronoun you can find next to that fail. That should be your exercise, inshallah, as a practice you should do during the week, and complete any other exercises that we have done. Of course, make sure that you have firmed up your past tense chart. You are able to pick up based on the pronoun. If you're told, okay, give me home version or hua version, you are able to do that. If you're given any fi'l, any three root letters, you are able to produce those 14 af'als, the fi'ls in the past tense, based on those three root letters. That's your job for the next week. So you are prepared to move on. In the next week's class, we will move on to do a little bit more in terms of the fi'l study. Before I close, there are lots and lots of exercises in your notes. So on starting from page number 36. So here you have to translate based on the meaning given here. For example, ahlaknaha is ahlakna, the word highlighted, and its meaning is given to destroy. So you have to look at ahlakna, and you have to say, okay, which form is it? This is nahnu ahlakna. So to destroy will become we destroyed, because it's a past tense. We destroyed, and then the attached pronoun is it. Okay, where you have attached pronoun, try to translate that. Where you don't have an attached pronoun, just stick to the highlighted word. Okay, so you will say we destroyed, and then ja'a would be he came, and so on and so forth. So it's a good exercise for you. Try to do this exercise. There are lots and lots of exercises here. The more you do this, the quicker you will firm things up. Okay. Then on the next page, this exercise is you basically are given a translated meaning of the fi'l. You have to identify the inside doer, the inside pronoun, and you have to identify the attached pronoun. So when you look at khalaqa, you're looking at hua. So you're going to say he, and then kum is the attached form, is you all. So he created you all. Okay, that's the exercise you have to do. Just find some time to do this as much as you can. So it's a good exercise. Then this is the same, this is the same. You see how much work I'm giving you today? Yeah. So so these are the exercises. Try to find some time here and there, 10, 15 minutes, do 2 or 3 together, then do your stuff, then come back with your coffee when after Eid, whatever. Just do few as well. I'm sure when you sit more focused, it's gonna take you maximum 1 hour to complete all of that. Okay? So find that time, inshallah. Make that time part of your life. Okay, so make that habit of finding time for this part of your life, one way or the other. You can have 1 hour broken up into 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes over 5 days, whatever, right? Or in a bulk, whatever works for you. Okay. So try to do it, inshallah, and by the next class, I hope that you will be able to um, say out the fail charts yourself with any fail given, and you have understood all of this, and you've tried to do this exercise as much as possible. Any questions? Shoot them on WhatsApp. Okay, I'm right there, just one message away. I'll help you. Okay. Any questions for now? All good? Very good. Just one last thing. I know Ramadan is ending, and starting next weekend, we'll be in the normal routine. Are you guys okay if we keep this time of the class, the morning time? The reason I'm saying this is because in the morning, if you're just over with the class, then you have the entire day to do whatever you want to do. Otherwise, if your class is at 5 and you're out somewhere, you have to specially come back home to take the class and do stuff like that. So it helps to have a class in the morning. Are you okay to do that in the morning this time, same time?
I can't, sorry, because when I return back to Cardiff, I've got stuff I do Saturday morning.
Okay, so you want
Sorry.
to move it back to the evening sessions.
I mean, if that's fine with you.
I'll do whatever you want me to do. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. So I'm just asking. If it's not fine, we can stick to the evening sessions. No problem. Okay.
I mean, it's at 11, so I'm free until 11:30, pretty much on Saturdays.
Okay. So what I will do is, if you don't mind, both of
Yeah.
you, I will send out a poll on WhatsApp with few timings, right? These 2 timings, either mornings or afternoon, and whatever works best for most, we'll do that. Is that okay?
Yeah, Jazakallah khairan.
Very good. Thank you very much. And inshallah, remember me and of course everyone around you in your du'as. I'll see you on next Saturday. Timings I will confirm inshallah before the next class. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.